Well, OTAs have begun, and they'll continue for 2 more weeks, and then there'll be mandatory camp, and then everybody takes a break, and then we'll go to regular preseason training camp that'll spring upon us in July. Bryce Young, Carolina, is taking all the snaps with the number 1 unit with the Carolina Panthers, and he has been really impressive. They like his dedication. They like his leadership. They surely like his skill. They don't seem to be concerned as to whether or not he can handle playing at 190, 195. But I think when you put a player in an NFL training regimen with nutritionists, they'll bulk him as we go towards July in training camp. So Carolina really pleased with Bryce Young. I'm not sure what's going on in Houston. I don't understand the whole CJ Stroud storyline. The storyline is that he is not taking a lot of number 1 snaps with the Houston Texans. They're giving them to Davis Mills. Mills, of course, has been a part-time starter for a year and a half, has not had a lot of success because he hadn't had a very good team around him. He's the former Stanford kid. Smart guy, strong arm, but has turned it over a lot, not thrown a lot of touchdowns. I just don't understand DeMeco Ryans' methodology with C.J. Stroud. I was told that he's taken about a third of the snaps with the number 1 team in OTAs. Why is he not getting the bulk of the snaps?
Yeah.
That's going to be the future of your team. I don't understand what's going on in Nashville. Holy cow. I mean, they wound up with Will Levis with the Tennessee Titans, and I just don't understand him being 3rd on the depth chart behind Ryan Tannehill, who's still there, and behind Malik Willis, who they drafted number 1 a couple of years ago. Hasn't really played that much and hasn't played that well when he's had to play. But if Levis was such a hot commodity on the draft, unfortunately, he sat there in the green room that whole first day, did not get taken until the 3rd round. I don't understand what Tennessee is doing. I mean, you know what you got in Tannehill. Don't you want to rush forward and put as much on the table for Will Levis, the kid out of Kentucky, to get him ready? Indianapolis, they are praising Anthony Richardson. They say he is there 11 hours a day on his own time, on his time with coaches. He's doing everything that needs to be done. They're really impressed with his presentation and his approach to being the Colts quarterback. I don't know if he's going to be the starter, but I think he's going to play a lot in preseason just to see how he copes with moving up to the next level. Weird story with the Raiders. Jimmy Garoppolo has had a 2nd foot surgery. This did not come out till Saturday. The Raiders restructured his contract with the complications from the San Francisco foot surgery. They took what was supposed to be an $11 million signing bonus, and they have transferred it into salary that's not guaranteed. He has to pass a preseason physical to stay on the roster, and he's had a 2nd foot surgery. There's a theory out there that they did this because they don't think he's going to be ready, so therefore they're not willing to pay him because the contract is unguaranteed. The roster bonus or the signing bonus is guaranteed. It's $11 million salary. They took $11 million bonus, so it'd be worth $22 million, but he has to pass the physical. There's a theory out there that he might get released, which I don't understand. Why would the Raiders have done this deal with him without understanding that there might be another surgical procedure? If they don't have the quarterback, they let Derek Carr go to get this guy, and then you bypass the quarterbacks who are on the draft board, and this guy doesn't work out because he's still ailing, and he's got a history. He's had 3 major injuries in 5 years. That's a really weird story there. And Baker Mayfield, lighting it up in Tampa. They love his energy. They love his smartness. There's a smirk around him, kind of like on your face. He's throwing the ball everywhere. They've got tight ends. They obviously have Mike Evans, a big 6'5" wide receiver. They have Chris Godwin, the kid from Penn State, who, when healthy, has been almost unstoppable. They're kind of quietly excited about Baker Mayfield. So those are the storylines in the NFL as it relates to quarterbacks.
I read a story about Anthony Richardson and his character, and that he was actually helping out the janitors in the clubhouse, like cleaning up, because he was just a dedicated guy. You don't usually hear that from these prima donna players. Maybe he's a special guy. Maybe he's going to be something that'll be really fun to watch in Indy. But going back to Garoppolo, I just remember so many times, he always messed up his ankle or his foot in San Francisco. But you talked about how there were rumors of the Raiders maybe trading up to get a quarterback. And we were wondering, why would they do that if they signed Garoppolo? Maybe they've had this strategy cooking for a few months.
Strange way to do business, because if this does not work out, your quarterback is Brian Hoyer, age 38.
Oh, man.
Been with virtually all these teams in the league.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, he's not even really a qualified backup quarterback, but would he be your quarterback going forward? To me, it's a strange methodology that the Raiders have put in place involving Jimmy G.
Yeah, I mean, you love Jimmy G, just the kind of the guy he was in San Francisco. I'm rooting for him to have success there, but yeah, I mean, if he may not even make the roster, I mean, that would just be so like the Raiders to completely screw this thing up, because they haven't had like just a really great quarterback for a really long time.
They had a good quarterback in Derek Carr, and they opened the door and told him to leave, and he wound up going to New Orleans. This bears watching. We'll see what June into July looks like. We got college football to